Alright, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Urchak, Kadash. Double honors and salutations to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Much respect to you brothers out on the highways and byways, pushing this truth with fear and sincerity, and Shalom to the hopeful elect. It's your brother Khalak Har coming back at you with another video. And I was looking at the news this morning before I got ready to go to the plantation. They was talking about how there's going to be energy shortages, coming in these winter months. And we know that Esau Edom, who controls the grid, who's been already showing us, these rolling blackouts. Remember back in Texas in 2021, they had that, their power plant, the energy grid, it froze. A lot of people froze to death in their houses. 444, call lawyer, how about Shimmy, a lot of people froze to death in their houses. A lot of things were broken. People, perished because of the infrastructure. Now, fast forward to 2025. Going into 2026, they already sounded alarms on the grid. Rolling blackouts, energy shortages, infrastructure shortages. The infrastructure not, doing what it can. And like I said, I was looking at the news this morning, and I looked for this article. It says the PNW, the Pacific Northwest, because that's where I'm out at, up here in the Seattle area, SeaTac area, whatever. It said could face energy shortages or shortage during extreme conditions, report says. So we know, they're telling you that it's going to be a mild winter up here. It's just going to be wet and warm, but that might not be the case, because you got to remember, Esau Edom has these heart machines. He used these machines to critique the weather. It can bring catastrophic conditions to your region or to your where you reside at with just a click of a button. We've seen his instruments. He's the prince of the power of the air. He can manipulate the elements, to bring drastic, changes in the subtlety, in the subtle. Man, people don't know to drive. But we can read a little bit of this real quick, because these times are coming. In America is already on a hard times now. Starting in November, we see that the government is shut down, and it don't look like it's being reopened no time soon. We see that people are crying left and right about their SNAP benefits, and they can't get this, they can't get that. Nothing but sorrows and hard times are coming to America, and this is the start of Jacob's trouble. You Jakes, you different Jakes out there, you've been warned. We know that hard times must come to get to the good times, which is the kingdom of heaven. It says in this article, does the Pacific Northwest have the energy it needs to prevent rolling blackouts? A new report commissioned by the region's largest utilities have raised concerns. It says, starting next year, the Northwest could face a power shortage that would challenge the reliability of the grid during extreme conditions, according to the report. And you got to subscribe to read more, but you get the point. These energy shortages are coming. Now, remember BlackRock, they're on to buy up all of these energy companies. They already bought, I think, Minnesota, New Jersey, and they looking to buy AES or something like that. You know, AES, another major power grid, which with them buying this will be the biggest, purchase of a power grid in U.S. history. Salakia, bear with me. It'd be the biggest purchase in U.S. history. Reading from this article, it says BlackRock's Global Infrastructure Partners is negotiating the acquisition of Power Utilities AES in a deal that could be worth $38 billion that will make the tie up one of the largest in history involving public power utilities in the United States. Media reports on the news cited source in the know that remained unnamed and that said the deal include AES substantial debt load at $29 billion. Wow. So here it is, this company is in 29 billions of debt. It says its market capitalization, on the other hand, was valued at $9.4 billion. So they gotta sell this shit. At the time the first reports about the talk surfaced, later Reuters said AES market cap has risen to 10.94 billion, giving a potential deal to total value of 40 billion. The report suggests that BlackRock's approach is related to the strong growth in electricity demand coming from booming IT sector thanks to artificial intelligence, AI, developed in the rush to build data centers to handle AI. And 144 right there, call the Lord Yahweh Shemiah Shabbat Shon Kakadash. And we know that they trying to build these data centers up because they need Palantir. These companies are working in tandem. 444 again. There's a lot of mercy going on. Call the Lord Yahweh Shemiah Shabbat Shon Kakadash. These companies are working in tandem. Palantir, Gideon, Oracle, BlackRock, because what do they want to do? They're trying to create this bubble, this infrastructure bubble, to put surveillance on the people. As of right now, the job that I'm going to, the power is off, but they use these generators that BlackRock owns. BlackRock owns the company, and they brought $1 million generators in, because they know they're going to hit these grids, because you got to understand something. These devils want to capitalize and take over everything. They want everything at their reach. They want everything in their power. We get another. It says, thanks to the artificial intelligence development in the rush to build data centers to handle AI, it says AES gas spent on a substantial sum of money over the past few years on building low carbon generator infrastructure, namely wind and solar installations to supply big tech major concerns about their green energy credentials. So you can read more of this if you want. But we know blackouts are coming, Let's get a scripture real quick. We get Ecclesiastes. Starting at the top, Ecclesiastes 1. It says, remember now thy Creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them. And, we got to remember the Heavenly Father is only begotten Son now. That's why we calling for mercy. 444 kept passing by. 144 can't pass. I saw it 3 times by the time I start doing this lesson. So we're begging for mercy, because we know these hard times are coming. In our youth, when the days are not evil, when the bad times are not coming, because you can still go to work, you can still go to the grocery store, purchase things, you can still work at your job. You got the liberty to get on a plane and go to places, so the days are not quite evil, but they're approaching. They're chipping at the bits, as they would say, chomping at the bits. We know the Lord is slowly pulling the cord on this place. It's like a paper. You got a piece of paper and you ripping down the middle of it, but the Lord is ripping it slowly and slowly, before he let his son return. Verse 2 says, while the sun or the light or the moon or the stars be not darkened, or the clouds return after the rain, in the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong man shall bow themselves, and the grinders shall cease, because there are few, and those that look out the windows be darkened. The grind is going to cease. There ain't going to be no jobs. Like I just said, my job just let me go. My little side hustle job, they close the company after 30 years. So it's beginning, the beginning of pains and sorrow. Now I got to, at the end of the day, you got to rely on the Lord. You can't rely on this place. Verse 4, it says, and the doors shall be shut in the streets. What doors? It's these different jobs. There should be no work for Egypt. And the grinding is low, and shall rise up the voice of the bird, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low. And this music is trash today, man. Everybody yelling NBA Youngboy. I keep seeing videos because NBA Youngboy, and singing this murder music, Sexy Reds and all of this shit. That shit is out the window. But everything is these devils, what do they want to do? They want full total control. And they're going to create black swan events. They're going to create, different situations. So what? So they can bring in that total control. They can bring in that squeeze. They're squeezing the people right now. This is from an article in September 22. It says, Feds predict major blackout risks from switch to renewables. So major blackout risks because they're switching to renewables. They're trying to switch they telling you it's climate change and whatnot. No, man, these devils are destroying the earth themselves. It says, DOE report finds that current plans to close baseload power plants and replace them with intermittent renewables is endangering power grids. See, this is all by design. And people, you MAGAs, you out here voting, the American first, MAGA, make America great. America is never going to be great again. This place is finished. And we can't wait for this place to go out, man. This place, this experiment to just be over with. It says power plants continue being closed and replaced mostly with unreliable wind and solar resources as planned. American power grids face 100-fold increase in risk blackouts by 2030, according to the recent U.S. Department of Energy. And we hope we ain't here till 2030, man. We hope we're out of here next year. But we see how things are moving. The Lord is moving. We'll be out of here soon. We'll be out of here soon. It's lucky. It says the risk is 27 times greater for the Carolinas given current plans. Fortunately, the new state law repealing the carbon plans interim goal for emissions reduces should let policymakers make better resource choices. So this current infrastructure, this infrastructure that America's under, it's at risk. And by next year, this winter is going to start, because it's going to get hotter, it's going to get colder, it's going to get more and more catastrophic. As they say, Mother Nature is going to, she's going to do her work. More hurricanes, more all of this. It's all coming. Like I keep saying, this is the beginning of sorrows. This is we're here. Jacob's trouble. We're here. We're here. And these people, people don't understand that they're in darkness. Isaiah 60? Isaiah 60:1, it says, "Arise, shine, for the light has come, and the glory of the Lord Yahweh is risen upon thee. For behold, the darkness shall cover the earth, and gross darkness the people." And we know that's confusion. We know that's people don't know what's going on. When these blackouts start rolling, people are going to be running, to robbing people's houses, because there ain't going to be no lights, there ain't going to be no police, the grid is down, nobody's coming to your rescue. People are going to be out there hungry and starving. They can't feed their kids, they can't feed themselves. What are they going to do? They're going to go and rob people. The Lord is putting the spirit, He got the spirit for vengeance out here. Read it again. "For behold," verse 2, "the darkness shall cover the earth, and gross darkness the people. But the Lord Yahweh shall arise upon thee, and his glory shall be seen upon thee." And that's just truth. We're coming out with this truth. We're coming out with this understanding. We're coming out with this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. And we know this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding is the stability of our times. It's going to keep us stable in these times. It's going to keep us right. It's going to keep us in the graces of Yahweh Shah. Because that's the only way you're going to get out of this thing. You ain't going to get out on your own merit. You're not going to get out by how much food you prep, how much guns you got. Any of that, man. It's all coming to a knot. Thus say the Lord. I had asked ChatGPT or DeepSeek. It says, would there be blackouts and grid instabilities during the upcoming winter months in 2026 America? It says, of course. Predicting the state of the national electrical grid 2 years in advance is complex and the subject may vary. However, based on current trends, experts analyze the ongoing challenges. We can provide a detailed assessment of the risks and likely scenarios for the winter of 2026 in America. The short answer, it is highly probable that some regions of the U.S. it will experience an elevated risk of blackouts and grid instabilities during the winter of 2026. However, this is not a prediction of a nationwide collapse. The risk is concentrated in specific areas and highly dependent on weather security or severity. Yeah, because you got three major grids that's in America. You got the one in Texas and the north, and then the east, and California as well. The Midwest, the East, California, North. But we know that hard times are coming, I got this article, winter blackouts. Why are they more dangerous than the summer ones? And you jump down here, in this winter, it's going to be frozen equipment, natural. What the fuck is you doing? natural gas pipelines, freezes, grid instabilities. You know, this is all that's coming. So prepare your minds, man. Prepare your pockets. Prepare your you know what I mean. Keep your Yahweh Shemi Al Shah first and foremost. So that's all I had. I hope you was